OMG Jesus, boys, girls, in-betweeners, welcome back to part 2 of this tutorial, and my god, you guys have just been incredible! I'm actually really surprised by how well received my first part of the JURI tutorial was, so we're back for round 2, and this is probably going to be a little bit shorter, and what I'm going to do is, there will be less talking in this version of the tutorial, at least after the start of it, and I'm basically going to be showing you some combos, and I'll be actually running those combos in slow motion after each time that I do them, so you can get a good look at how they're actually performed, because I find it's a very good way to just show off combos rather than just, you know, doing one after another, after another, after another, because you generally have to pause and go back and do things like that, so I'll take care of that for you guys. Now, we're just going to be looking at, as I said, general play, how JURI should be used, and the different combos in this video. Now, it's important to note that these are not all of her possible combos. You can jump on YouTube right now and find some very swag, swingy, swoop, extended function engine combos, corner combos, all that kind of thing. What I'm trying to do is that these videos are aimed at beginner and intermediate level players, so I'm really trying to do combos which I feel are the best for the ratio of damage to the simplicity of how they are performed. So that's the mindset here, so just keep in mind that if you want to look at some other stuff, by all means do so, because this is not all that there is. Okay, great, let's get into this. So, general game plan for JURI in 4. I'm not going to talk about this for too long, but essentially it hasn't changed too much. I said 4, I mean 5. In 5 it hasn't changed much because it's really the same as it was in 4. It's really about frustrating your opponent and taking away tools that they have by using things like your wheel kicks, or using your V-skill, things like that to take away fireballs, using a really excellent anti-air option, some of which I'll get to a little bit later as well. But you really just want to frustrate people, because JURI in this game, even more so than in 4, is an incredibly, what we call an honest character. She's very honest because she doesn't really have any mix-ups. She does have a couple, but they're really function engine based, and she can only do them once basically per activation, and that's kinda it. So it's something to remember that, like, if you don't have those mix-up, you don't have like the Rashid-esque shenanigans that you can do to try and confuse people and whatnot, things like, you know, Fang excels at those as well, things like that. You've got to play her honest, which means you just have to play well. You can't rely on gimmicks or setups or things like that to get your damage. You just got to be solid, you got to have your footsies on point, you got to have your AA on point, and you just got to be ready to go in for the long haul. Alright, now that said, fireballs are no longer a deterrent for being used in spacing. If you've known JURI from Street Fighter 4, or if you've known from Street Fighter Cross Tekken, a lot of the time you can use her fireballs, and you can just throw them out a lot. And you can just, you know, use them as a spacing tool to just put people on notice. You're going to use them at different distances, you're going to throw them out, you're going to potentially try and confuse them with them, things like that. The problem with it in 5 is that because 5 is really a game where you have to be very, very careful about when you store fireballs, not only because they're punishable, obviously that if someone jumps in while you're doing it, you're in for a world of hurt, but also because you're sacrificing pressure. If you stop to load up some fireballs, that's time that you can't attack someone unless you're doing it at the end of a block string. So you have to be very careful about when you get those fireballs stored, and when you do get them stored, you want to make sure you get absolute max benefit from them. You want to get the maximum cash out for that time that you invested in spending on charging them in the first place. So that's really the toughest lesson that I've had to learn in 5, because in before Season 2, I really didn't bother with fireballs very much. Like, the only time I'd really use fireballs was like I might dash up and try to do a little bit of footsies and start things off. You know, things like that. But that's actually, in Season 2 especially, because they've improved the fireball utility in Season 2, that's really a waste. And I'll get into that when I talk about the combos in just a moment. But you really want to, like, right now in Season 2, fireballs are actually better because they have increased that utility, and they really are your way of getting max damage in your combos. Alright, let's talk about combos, but just before I jump into that, I want to make a note that in Season 2, JURI gained a link from standing medium punch to standing medium kick. 3 hits. This was not something that she had in Season 1. Now, because standing medium kick is cancelable off the first hit only, it gives her new combo possibilities, because you have to do this very fast, like excruciatingly fast. So I'm going to see if I can get it here. It might take me a couple goes. Oh, didn't get it. There we go. That's not the hard part. The hard part is to cancel off the first hit of the standing medium kick. If you do it off the second hit, you don't get anything. It's only cancelable off the first hit. Where I'm going with all this is that I don't like it. And it's not because of the execution barrier, although that is certainly part of it. It's because if you're using this as a combo at the front of a combo, using 2 mediums is less damage efficient in terms of scaling than doing 2 heavies. We talked about damage scaling in the last video. There are plenty of combos I'm going to show you here that start with 2 heavies. Now, again, if you're a high level player, you may not agree. I've talked to people who are Juri players, especially people in the comments of my video, who feel that it is good, and people who agree with me and say that it's not good. It's really down to personal preference. If you want to try using the standing medium punch and standing medium kick link in your combos, then by all means do so. But personally, I'm not a fan of it, and that may change in time. It may, in future, I may become a fan of it, but right now I'm not. So I'm not going to be showing that link in any of these combos here. So that's just a quick note on that before I get any angry comments about the new link that she gained. All right, combo time. Let's do this. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I hope you found this enjoyable. I hope that you found it informative. I really appreciate the feedback that everyone's given me. This is kind of all that I have planned right now. That said, I am happy to do a third episode of this tutorial, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to take some questions from you guys if you have anything that you're uncertain of, anything that I can try to answer for you, or hopefully give you feedback in the game itself. So if you have questions that I haven't covered in these two videos, please post them down below, or anything else that you want to know about Juri, and I'll be happy to cover that as well. But in the meantime, thanks again. Don't forget to please like, subscribe, do all those things. Use your social media currency. It costs you nothing, but it would mean the world to me. So thank you very much, guys. That's it. Kisses, hugs, belly rubs. I'll see all of you very soon.